Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend and astrologer, Gretchen Heidel. And I am here live tonight, very impromptu. Usually I've been trying to go on Mondays, but yes, this is Tuesday. I didn't want to skip this week, but I have a limited time, but I thought I would just come on and tell you guys what's going on with this week in astrology. And if you see me looking up and down on the two cameras, that's because I am co-recording on YouTube or for YouTube at the same time. And as you know, I cross post these posts, but I wanted to go over what is going on in astrology this week and what to expect. I'm not going to be able to stay on as long as I normally do, but I wanted to give you guys the information that you have been wanting and needing. So welcome. If you're just joining me here on Facebook Live, go ahead and like the post and post your astrological sign below, because it's really cool hearing what everybody's sign is. And how did you guys all do with that big full moon that we just had? OMG, over the weekend. I said big full moon. It was a micro moon. But boy, I think we felt that one quite a bit. We had, some sort of Chinese whatever balloon shot down over the weekend, and we had big earthquakes going on in Syria and Turkey. I feel really bad for those folks over there. This particular full moon did form a square with Uranus, shakeups and unexpected events. So Uranus, whenever Uranus's energy is activated, it is shakeups, and it can produce earthquake activity as well. I see a few people here on Facebook. They're all being quiet. So go ahead and post your astrological sign. I'd love to hear. And I'm going over this week in astrology, the week of February 6th, 2023, going all the way until February 12th, 2023. So welcome. This week is actually sort of not quite as active, but there is still definitely activity, and it's stuff that you will want to know about because one of them involves Pluto. Yikes. So we want to be prepared. Forewarned is forearmed is what I always say. But first, today on February 7th, we have some big and interesting activity going on today, February 7th, involving the asteroids and dwarf planets. Vesta, which is the planet that pertains to safety in astrology. Vesta is moving into the astrological sign of Aries on February 7th, 2023 at 11:43 p.m. So tonight, Vesta is going to be moving into Aries. Vesta has been in Pisces for like a sort of abnormally longer period of time because Vesta was actually retrograde in Pisces, so many more months than usual. Typically, Vesta changes signs every 2 to 3 months on average. But this, was in Pisces for 7 months or so. It was a while. So Vesta has been in Pisces and now is finally ending the Vesta in Pisces time and is going to be entering into Aries. Now, there's actually going to end up being 4 planets in the astrological sign of Aries. Vesta, which again is the asteroid, Juno, another asteroid, Jupiter, and Chiron. Chiron is another one of those asteroid mini planet type of things. Hey, Robin, welcome. Gemini, yay. Oh, thank you. Love my heart. I love wearing my heart necklace. I had a lot of heart energy going on. So we have pre-Valentine's Day happening. And so Vesta is how we feel safe. You might think, well, how does that pertain to me? Well, Vesta is one of the Vestal virgins, right? Vesta was a very, very, very important in Roman and Greek times. In fact, I believe in Roman mythology, and I'm just sort of remembering this, is that they actually had a whole festival in honor of Vesta. Vesta was said to keep the people safe and to keep everyone safe. So safety and Vesta kind of go hand in hand. Think about alarm systems, insurance policies, helmets, seat belts, smoke detectors, all those types of things are very Vesta oriented things. It's about how do you feel safe. And when we're looking at Aries, Vesta can be a fighter because Aries tends to want to fight and want to be a little bit more aggressive and wants to argue their way to the top, and be much more kind of like aggressive. In Aries can be a very aggressive sign, and so thus we could feel safe in being a little bit more dominant or aggressive. Now that's not always a good thing, okay? So if you think about it, you don't want to be, and then also Aries is the head. So we want to keep our head safe during this process. So that would be a good time to, kind of wear your helmet, make sure that you have your head protected in whatever way, shape, or form it is. And if you already had a past head injury, or if you have migraine headaches or things like that, you want to keep your head safe. So that is a thing, a real thing. And if you're just joining, go ahead, like the post, and make sure that you mention your astrological sign in the notes, because that's how it gets the algorithm rolling. Everybody's being very quiet tonight. This is not my usual night that I come on. But Vesta in Aries is very important, and it's going to add even more energy, basically because Vesta is like I said, in Aries, but we have already other 3 planets in Aries as well. Hey, Wendy, Scorpio, welcome. I love to hear from everybody. And so that is going on this week. And so we're going to have now another flavor in that Aries department. These are not major planets, with the exception of Jupiter is super major, because the biggest planet other than the sun in our solar system is Jupiter. The sun is technically a star. Having Jupiter in Aries alone is a very big deal. And then you add these other things, that's going to be more energy in the Aries department. So it depends on where Aries is in your astrological sign, in your astrological chart, in order to know how that will affect you on a personal level. But if you think about Vesta is sort of being a little bit more aggressive, arguing, fighting. And so we can feel safe in the fight. Remember, we have usually 3 responses: fight, flight, or freeze. Well, Aries is more prone to fighting than anything. Hey, Kirsten, welcome. Capricorn and Sarah, Leo in Vermont, welcome. Michelle Lee, hello. So we have that going on. And so Vesta is going to be in its new sign, and it's going to be continuing in the sign of Aries, which is a little bit more archetypally masculine energy. Even though Vesta was one of the Vestal virgins, okay, she was said to be the goddess of hearth, home and hearth. So we will be focused more on our home, focus more on the hearth. In fact, during the Olympics, carrying the torch with the flame, that's like the Vestal flame. So Vesta is home and hearth, the goddess. So she's a little bit more aggressive in Aries, and not very homey and hearthy, I guess, if you want to be funny about it. But that can be a little bit more aggressive on the home front even. So we want to watch that. And again, watching our head. And if we think about the energy of the home, it could be thinking about the roof or the attic. Astrology starts with the head and goes down. So if you think of that in reference to your house, that could be roof issues, that could be, attic issues. So you want to just watch that as well. And make sure that your fireplace flue is clean and that exhaust is able to escape your home properly with heating systems, because that is an Aries Vesta kind of situation, and you want to focus on that safety. When Vesta is around, you want to focus on the safety. Vesta is going to continue into Aries all the way through from tonight, like I said, at 11:43 p.m. Eastern time, all the way until April 15th at 12:58 p.m. on April 15th. Vesta will be in Aries. So then it'll go into Taurus. So you may want to watch those things pertaining to Vesta. Now, the other thing that's happening that's big in the Aries department, we got a lot of Aries energy right now, is that Juno is going to form a conjunction with Jupiter today. And that is today on February 7th, 2023. Hey, Naomi, welcome. And I love that you guys are liking the post, sharing, all that good stuff, tagging friends. That's amazing. Juno conjunct Aries. Juno is who our ideal marriage partner is. And then Jupiter, right, makes everything bigger. Those two are conjunct, meaning right on top of each other. in Aries also. So now we have more Aries energy, Aries fiery, aggressive, a little, like I said, more archetypally masculine in nature. Aries is ruled by Mars, the god of war. So yes, that can be good, especially when you think about the love life. Okay, that can be a good thing, and that's going to be active all week. Even though the peak of it is today, it was active last week, it's going to be active next week. We're thinking about Aries, we're thinking about Jupiter, we're thinking about Juno. Juno describes your ideal marriage partner in your astrological chart. So right now, the transiting Juno, the Juno that's in the sky, is in Aries. And so Juno and Aries conjunct Jupiter means that, partners could take on a bigger role, or we could be more aggressive towards our partner. Because remember what I'm saying about Aries. Aries tends to fly off the handle and be a little bit more aggressive and or passionate. So if passion has a healthy flow to it, that can be an extra passion sort of thing with a partner, or wanting to be swept off our feet or conquered in some way. That's a very, again, archetypally masculine Aries sort of energy. So Juno conjunct Aries today. So we have a lot of Aries energy going on right now in the minor league, but it's like kind of like all the minor planets are kind of lining up in Aries. So that's a thing. And so that's going on. And also Jupiter conjunct Chiron, that's going to be happening. They're all three like sort of coming together, Juno, Chiron, Jupiter, in the beginning of this month in February. They're all coming together. So Chiron is, what do you need to heal? What do you need to heal in yourself? So when you think about Juno, that's an ideal marriage partner. Jupiter just makes everything bigger and enhances everything. Jupiter can be very more optimistic though, which is good. That's a good thing. And then Chiron, what do you need to heal? So Chiron always brings up something that we need to heal. Hey, Melinda, Capricorn, welcome. And Julia, Taurus, welcome. We have a lot of, let's see, Leo, Capricorn. We have a lot of Capricorns on tonight, which is awesome. So that's happening all today, June 7th. And like I said, really the beginning of this month, it's not going to be like one and done and over right away, because all those energies are like kind of congealing together in Aries. So it's quite interesting. We might find ourselves a little bit more prone to anger, a little bit more fiery, a little bit more aggressive, and we will definitely go after a partner that we want. If we have a love interest or somebody we have our sights on, we can be even uncharacteristically a little bit more bold when these things are happening. Now, tomorrow on, speaking of love, tomorrow on February 8th, Venus is forming a sextile with Uranus. That's really happening. I said tomorrow. It's really happening tonight, overnight, between the 7th and 8th at 12:29 a.m. Eastern time. So technically tonight, if you're on the West Coast. And so Venus forming a sextile with Uranus is thinking outside the box with relationships and love. Uranus has been in Taurus for a while now, so we're not going to be getting rid of that until 2025. Uranus is going to be continuing on in Taurus. And so we have a lot going on there right now. Venus, it just went into Pisces. So Venus and Pisces, Taurus, Uranus, and those two get along. But we want to think outside the box with relationships. We might be drawn to a different type of partner than we usually are drawn to. Somebody that's like a little kind of odd, unusual, unique, or different. Someone culturally that's different, or religious that's different from our background. And that can all be, sometimes it's age difference during Uranus energy. And I would be remiss if I didn't say this, but sometimes Venus and Uranus alignments can produce affairs, extramarital or otherwise, like a little cheating, a little outside the box. So that is going on. That's going to be tonight. It's just that we're drawn like in a sudden different direction. That's kind of usually what happens with our love life when Venus aligns with that planet of shakeups and unexpected events. Now, there's a couple big things coming this weekend. So one of them is that Mercury on Friday, well, actually, let me get to good news first. I'll do a little good news first. Good news is Mercury retrograde, okay, has been over for a while, as you guys know, but Mercury's shadow, the post-shadow period, is over on Thursday, the 9th. Yay! February 9th, 2023. The shadow period's over. So now we're like totally out of Mercury retrograde, like totally, totally, totally. So yay, that's amazing. The post-shadow period, meaning that things should start to be functioning and flowing a little bit better now. The bad news is, that's good news, okay? That's on February 9th, Thursday. It's officially done. The bad news is that on Friday, Mercury is going to form a conjunction with Pluto. That is another sticky point. We saw that back on, what was it, the 16th, I believe. Let me just take it, 18th. I'm sorry, the 18th, when Mercury went direct on that day. And then the sun formed a conjunction with Pluto on that day. Now we're kind of having another thing where Mercury is totally out of the shadow period on the 9th. And then on the 10th, on Friday at 12:16 p.m. Eastern time, this Mercury is going to form a conjunction with Pluto on that day. And so Pluto's heavy, Pluto's dark, Pluto's the shadow self, the Jungian, shadow side, trigger city. Think about triggering. And when you think about Mercury, it's somebody said something, it's talking, it's reading, it's texting, it's all of the communication stuff, and it's communication style. Now, when we have Pluto active, it's kind of like killing an ant with a sledgehammer. I mean, it's like, Pluto can be very aggressive, just like Mars can be very aggressive. So we might get more aggressive towards the end of the week and have some darker stuff come up. I cannot remember what happened on the 18th. I was actually just thinking something big happened around that time in the news, like during that time. And I can't remember now off the top of my head what it was, but it was like some dark stuff that was on the news, somebody passing away or something. But anyway, it just can be dark. So in your personal life, in this week and going towards the end of the week, we want to watch what we say. We don't want to have that, light discussion about politics, because it's going to quickly unravel into something dark and not good. Or talking with the boss, or like having that big talk with your partner. That's not a good thing to do this week, especially with Mercury aligning with Pluto. Ooh, that can be rough. Now, and then even the next day, Mercury is active again on the 11th. So we have a lot of mercurial energy. And you might say to me, Gretchen, I thought you just said on that broadcast that Mercury was finally direct and it shouldn't be feeling like a Mercury retrograde. What I have experienced is that whenever Mercury is very active, regardless kind of what it's doing, even when it's fun, nice stuff, it still will feel retrograde-ish. I'm making up words here. But it'll still feel like wonky, or like something's a little off. And so Mercury is going to, on the 11th, Saturday, February 11th, Mercury is going to move into Aquarius now at 6:22 a.m. Eastern time, so 3:22 a.m. if you're on the West Coast. And so Mercury has been in Capricorn again for this long extended stay period of time. Mercury in Capricorn started on December 6th, 2022. So it's been in Capricorn all this time. Usually Mercury is in each sign for 2 weeks and then it's done. 2 weeks done, 2 weeks done, 2 to 3 weeks, But it was all the way since the beginning of December, it's been in Capricorn. So we're finally, that's the last planet leaving out of Capricorn season. That's the last planet. And now we're going to be fully into that Aquarian sort of energy. And so Mercury moving into Aquarius is a big deal. And so when you think and talk and communicate like an Aquarian, right? I mean, that's basically what we're talking about here. We're thinking and talking like an Aquarian. It's going to be an Aquarius because Mercury is still just a little, not slow, but a little bit sluggish. It's going to be in Aquarius from February 11th all the way until March 2nd, and then it'll go into Pisces on March 2nd. So we're going to be thinking and talking like Aquarians. Now, it depends on where Aquarius is in your astrological chart in order to know how this will affect you on a personal level. Some of the most brilliant minds brilliant people that I know have Aquarius, Mercury in Aquarius. Mercury in Aquarius is like the mind of the kind of mad scientist or the crazy inventor. Like, you can't fly, what are you thinking, you know? Oh yeah, you know, like it's like thinking outside the box and thinking about something in such a complete different way. I know so many brilliant people, and there's been so many brilliant people in history. I think, if I remember correctly, Martin Luther King, Oprah Winfrey, there's a lot of people who have more of a brilliant mind that think outside the box and they think about things in a different way. That's Mercury in Aquarius. Remember, Mercury is the winged messenger. It's how we talk, it's how we speak, it's how we communicate, it's our thoughts, it's our mind. It's not really our emotions, it's our cerebral self. And that Mercury in Aquarius can be quite brilliant. So if there's anything that, if you're like a little stuck, if you're kind of, gosh, I can't think of a way to solve this problem, or a way out of this situation, or whatever. Mercury in Aquarius can really help with that, because again, it's thinking outside the box, thinking like totally something different. It's a different and unique solution to whatever thing you're thinking about. And so Mercury in Aquarius can be a fun thing, though. It is an air sign. Aquarius is an air sign, so it can make us just slightly ungrounded feeling. Yikes, I know. More ungrounding feeling. The sun's in Aquarius now Mercury's in Aquarius, so we can be a little ungrounded and live up in the sky. And you think of balloons, you know, that air balloon that we that the military just shot down. That's a very air sign sort of thing. And so we have that going on. That's going to be on Saturday morning, like I said. And also on Saturday, Mars is going to form a sextile with Chiron. Now, I just talked about Chiron being very activated this week with aligning with like Jupiter and Juno and all those other signs. Chiron, again, the wounded healer. Mars, the god of war. Well, sextiles, luckily, are very positive usually. It means that we will be proactive about our healing. Maybe we do some journaling. Maybe we sign up and take a class. Maybe we purposefully have some kind of sign up for therapy, or sign up for a counselor, or doing astrology or some sort of thing. Whatever it is, that we'll be more proactive about our healing. Just keep in mind that, remember, the day before on Friday, Mercury aligned with Pluto, and all that dark stuff is still like Trigger City, is still kind of out there, and we're still spinning or spiraling from that. Now, the good news is sometimes when triggers come up, it's just merely a notice that we need to heal something. A lot of us curse our triggers and say, oh, I don't want to feel triggered. I want to feel happy. I don't want to feel sad or depressed, or, you know, spiraling over something. But a trigger is merely an indicator that there's more work to be done on the self, on the psyche, on the self. And so Mars aligning with Chiron can help us to be a little bit more proactive, instead of just freezing and going into our corner and just like, you know, what do I do? Mars can help us with that. The peak of it, like I said, is on Saturday, on the weekend, but really it's going to be active even longer than just Saturday. It's going to be active as well. So that's kind of cool that the universe gave us this sort of layout of the trigger, but also healing to be found within the situation. It might not be magical that it just that it appears, but it will be something that we'll seek. It'll be a proactive situation that we seek. And so that's it. Monday. And I hope to be back on my normal Monday schedule. I'll be honest with you, I ran out of steam last weekend after that full moon on Sunday. I was down for the count on Monday. I don't know if any of you have experienced that. If you have, please leave it in the show notes, where you have the big full moon and then you kind of crash afterwards. That's kind of what happened with me yesterday. So I apologize I wasn't on my live, but I just couldn't do it. I didn't have enough gas in the gas tank. And it was funny, all weekend I was very like kind of almost hyper, and then I was like done. I was like I ended up taking like a 2-hour nap on Monday. It was like I I don't know. That was unlike me, but I feel fine and I feel good now. But I just kind of went down for the count. If anybody else experiences that on a full moon, let me know. But sometimes that can happen. Sarah said, oh, you took a 4-hour nap on Sunday, 5-hour nap yesterday. It was crazy. Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that happens sometimes with full moons. It's crazy. Yeah. And the cold snap didn't help either. Yeah. We had in Vermont, if anybody heard, if you guys are watching from not Vermont, outside of Vermont, we had New England had a like a crazy -40, and that might have been also contributing, right? But full moons, during full moons, it always heightens. So storms, wind, flooding, all that kind of stuff can be heightened during full moons, because remember, the gravitational force pulling the earth is activated. So yeah, it really can be. Juliet said, thank you for sharing. Yeah, it's a normal thing to, because if you think about, the full moon is like, oh, it's like the very peak of that experience. And then after that, it's like, oh, and it's like, you just kind of, it's like a come down or a let down, or a hangover that you're experiencing from that big energy. So it is something that that is common, and just because I can name these cycles doesn't mean that that I am immune to them. It happens to me too, and I just hit the wall on Monday. But speaking of full moons, I'll just give you guys a heads up, because my broadcast on next Monday night is going to take place after this. But on Monday is the second chance full moon coming up on Monday, the 13th of February. And so that's called the last quarter lunar cycle, the fourth quarter lunar cycle, or I call it the second chance full moon. And that's where we'll be in between the full moon and the next coming new moon. And it's always considered to be a time of a little bit of a crisis on the second chance full moon. And unfortunately, it's going to be happening on Monday at 11:01 a.m. So during the work day on Monday, we will be experiencing that, where the sun will be in Aquarius and the moon will be in Scorpio. Aquarians and Scorpios are both fixed signs, meaning stubborn. And so that can be a little bit like, those two need to work together a little bit better. It will look like half of a moon in the sky, basically. And that's going to be happening on Monday. They call that a time of crisis, because again, we have to reevaluate what is going on basically in our lives. And we're letting go, we're furthering and deepening the work that we began during the full moon. Remember, the full moon is about releasing, purging, and letting go. So sometimes when we get to the second chance full moon, we have to deepen that, and we have to maybe let go of a little more thing that we, or maybe keep something that, oh gosh, I can't throw the baby out with the bathwater and I have to keep that thing. It's a time, in other words, of reevaluating what we're letting go and what we're keeping in our lives. Letting go can be literal clutter, can be debt, it can be toxic relationships, it can be all those types of things, or even a letting go of a behavior or a pattern that you maybe don't like about yourself, or like quitting smoking, or letting go of some kind of other behavior or pattern. So I hope that helps. That's going to come on Monday. So that is going to be the thing. And I am just going to pull one card that we need to, what do we need to know? I can't do too long tonight on the broadcast, but I want to pull one card for our week this week. And what do we all need to know? Okay, astrologically, spiritually, emotionally, in order to get through this week, especially with that Mercury conjunct Pluto. I think out of everything that's happening, that Mercury conjunct Pluto is going to be real sticky. That's going to be that real sticky point, and that could be like the kind of danger zone of the week. Otherwise, it's actually kind of a mild week, but that one thing could, it only takes one thing to create chaos, I always say. So that we want to watch out for. We want to make sure that we focus on Aries and Vesta and the home and hearth, and and fighting for what we want and all that kind of stuff. That's that Aries energy, and thinking outside the box when it comes to our love life and what we want out of our love life. Communicating in a different way or a different style. That's Mercury going into Aquarius this week as well. So we have some other really good things. It's just that we have the sticky part. And Juliet said she's sick of sticky, but my dear, that's life. We have, we always have, we always have testers put into our weeks and our astrological months of things to learn and things that we help us to grow. And we'll call it character. We'll call it, sort of actually a good word for, I always call with Aries is scrappy. It's like that scrappy survivor kind of energy. That's what Aries is kind of known for. There's a lot of Aries energy this week. Aries is kind of known for that scrappy survivor, like make it work, make it happen. We're just going to figure it out. So, hey, Kristen, welcome. All right, so what do we need to know about all this energy coming to the planet? What's the best thing that we can all keep in mind? Individually as well as collectively, what do we need to know about this energy? Oh, yeah. So remember when I was talking about, this is creative writing. Remember when I was talking about healing and Chiron and seeking out and being proactive with our healing? Archangel Gabriel, make time to write down your thoughts in a journal or pen an article or a book or a blog or some kind of thing. See, this could be very cathartic with writing down what bothers us or what, instead of flying off the handle, right? Or if we are triggered by something, if some trigger comes up and really gets us and it's like, that's just an indication we have more work to do on ourselves. So writing is very cathartic. If you don't have time to write, dictate it into your phone or some kind of thing, but it's really good to just allow yourself that time to do a free writing kind of thing that will help us to process our thoughts. In fact, I was going to say that when I was talking about Mars and Chiron and, all the different things. Writing is so cathartic and so wonderful, and I think that it's something that could really help us. And I was also asking, I just wanted to pull another card, relationship harmony. See, relationship harmony, Archangel Raguel. We angels are opening the hearts of everyone involved. Arguments and conflicts are being resolved. The angels are helping us to resolve these arguments and conflicts here on the earthly plane, whether that be between, our neighbors or our partners or our children or whatever it is. This means the angels are helping us, or even if it's countries, the angels are always trying to help us to resolve conflict and always to see the light and the rainbow behind the cloud. They don't want us to fight and battle and argue and have all these conflicts. They want us to have peace and to be able to have harmony, really. So if you think about the opposite of Aries, I apologize. Sorry. It looks like I blipped out for a minute there. If you think about the opposite of Aries is Libra, and that's all about harmony. So relationship harmony is what we actually need, not conflict. So anyway, I hope that helps you guys. Hey, Wendy, welcome. Well, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I am definitely open for if you want an astrological session, go ahead and send me a text message. And I am going to be trying to do Monday nights again. I just apologize. I ran out of steam on this particular Monday night. So I hope everybody's well. Okay. Have a good night. Bye.